Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa filling in for Jess. Let's get in some front page news. Now, Monday Night Football. The Chiefs beat the Saints 26-13. Their record is now 5-0. Tonight, the Connecticut Sun takes on the Lynx at 8 p.m. in WNBA. Now, last night...
Game 5, by the way. That's Game 5.
Game 5.
That's the final game of that series. So whoever wins that goes to the WNBA Finals to play the New York Liberty.
Now, last night in baseball, the Royals beat the Yankees. They tied the series 1-1. And the Tigers beat the Guardians. They tied the series 1-1. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning. Good morning. That sounds like a lot of fun. Unfortunately, right now in front page news, top of the headlines, we're looking at this Hurricane Milton, as it approaches Florida. Now, President Biden is signing an emergency disaster declaration as Hurricane Milton approaches Florida. It'll authorize FEMA and Department of Homeland Security to use their resources for hurricane response. Now, this is the second major storm in the past month to hit the state after Helene. At last check, Milton was a Category 4 hurricane this morning with potential to strengthen to a Cat 5 with maximum winds of 155 miles per hour. And it's forecast to make landfall late Wednesday or early Thursday. Counties along Florida's west coast have been ordered to evacuate. Over 50 are under a state of emergency. Fortunately, Milton is not expected to have any major impacts. It's not expected to have any major impacts on already battered North Carolina as it continues to deal with the aftermath of Helene. Now, meanwhile, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, he says Hurricane Milton is a really, really strong storm that will produce major damage. He says the state is ready to have resources deployed to the expected hardest hit areas, and everyone on Florida's west coast should be prepared for major impacts. Let's hear from Governor Ron DeSantis out of Florida on Milton.
We have made a pre-landfall declaration request from FEMA for support, and the federal government has approved a portion of our request for pre-landfall items, and we expect the remaining parts of our request subsequent to landfall for debris and individual assistance once the storm hits will also be approved. We have 5,000 National Guardsmen that have been mobilized. We'll have, before the storm hits, another 3,000. We're also deploying major heavy equipment to assist with debris removal. And of course, National Guard will be a big part of any search and rescue that needs to happen.
Yeah, Hurricane Milton is not playing in any way, shape, or form. Is it with Category 4 or 5? In 2024, with the way climate change and global warming has made these storms stronger, it's going to be catastrophic.
Yeah, people can't leave. They're saying that they're stuck. They're saying that the flights are canceled. They're saying highways are crazy. Yep. So people can't leave. So definitely pray for your family members. Pray for anybody that you know that's going to be affected by it as well.
Yeah, so Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri, he says residents, business owners, and employees with Barrier Island reentry permits will have access, but as of 7 p.m. tonight, all access for everyone will be shut down for those Barrier Islands. He also says, based on the magnitude of Milton, they will arrest people who refuse to leave restaurants, bars, businesses that are still open. Not to say it like that, but maybe, that could be a safer place to be. I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. In prisons, as crazy as it sounds, those jails are good shelter.
Yeah. So recovery efforts, and then switching gears just a little bit to Helene, recovery efforts are still going on in North Carolina. The death toll has climbed to more than 75, with western parts of the state being hardest hit. Governor Roy Cooper says things are getting better, though. So hopefully this isn't one of those politicized situations. Governor Roy Cooper, he's a Republican. Hopefully he is getting that resources to his people in North Carolina. Let's hear from Governor Roy Cooper out of North Carolina.
There is progress in western North Carolina toward recovery. We're still opening roads. We're still working to reach communities. We still have search and rescue occurring as we speak. But we know the people of North Carolina and will pull together, and that the people of western North Carolina will recover from this storm.
Yes, I'll yield the last few comments to you guys. I mean, what's going on with these storms, to your point, Charlamagne, is not to be played with. So if you do know someone in those areas, y'all need to get the move on. I spoke to my neighbor yesterday. She's in Tampa, and they've been told to evacuate as well. So, wow. Or my old neighbor.
Yeah, I can't believe. I think I was watching that video yesterday of Kamala Harris, who says that Ron DeSantis is refusing to take her calls about Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Helene. And I just can't believe you have politicians who will politicize these natural disasters. Like, Mother Nature should be the most humbling thing for humans, because Mother Nature don't care what race you are. Mother Nature don't care about your sexuality. Mother Nature don't care about your religion. Mother Nature don't care about your political party. And there is nothing you can do but prepare for the worst when one of these storms are coming. So this should be the time where everybody should be coming together.
That's right.
Absolutely. And if you live in Florida, you need to hold your elected officials, local and state elected officials, accountable for these type of things. But I won't get too much into that. That's your front page news for 6 a.m., 7 a.m. We're going to catch up with the candidates.
All right. Everybody else, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. Again, 800-585-1051. Call us up right now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa filling in for Jess. And let's get in some front page news. Start off with some quick sports and Monday Night Football. The Chiefs beat the Saints 26-13. Now, in WNBA, the Connecticut Sun take on the Minnesota Lynx tonight at 8 p.m. This is Game 5. And last night, Major League Baseball, my Yankees lost to the Royals 4-2. They tied the series 1-1. And the Tigers beat the Guardians, and that series is tied 1-1 as well. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning. Good morning. You know who else is tied up? Trump and Harris in this race. It seems like they are neck and neck. Well, let me get into this. VP Harris is again saying she will pay for her economic plan by taxing the rich. Now, while appearing on 60 Minutes, the VP was pressed about how she'll get the money from Congress to invest in small businesses. She claims she has a lot of support to get her tax the rich plan through Congress from congressional leaders. Let's hear more from VP Harris in her 60 Minutes interview.
Well, one of the things is I'm going to make sure that the richest among us who can afford it pay their fair share in taxes. You know, when you talk quietly with a lot of folks in Congress, they know exactly what I'm talking about because their constituents know exactly what I'm talking about.
So Republican critics point out that the top 1% of income earners in the U.S. earn 26% of all income and pay 46% of all federal income taxes. Her appearance on CBS News show comes about 4 weeks until Election Day. Trump has consistently polled better than Harris on the question of economy in terms of his handling. Now, I know you just had a caller not too long ago who asked about taxing overtime. Now, she and former President Trump have said they will not tax tips, and Harris's plan does include tax breaks on housing and childcare. As far as overtime, I'm not sure that she has mentioned that just yet. This also comes on Monday as Vice President Harris remembered the victims of the Hamas terrorist attack on Israel, saying the world must never forget October 7th and make sure nothing like the horrors of that day can ever happen again. She repeated the pledge and always to ensure that Israel does have the right to defend itself. Now, she says she will always work to ensure the safety and security of Jewish people here and around the world. The Democratic presidential candidate also said she'll work to reunite the hostages held in Gaza with their families, and she'll never stop fighting for the release of all hostages. Now, meanwhile, Ohio Senator and Republican VP hopeful J.D. Vance, he was on the National Mall yesterday where he spoke on the anniversary of the Hamas attack on Israel. Now, Vance said the incident was also an attack on the United States. He says he and Trump support Israel, but he is calling out Vice President Harris to secure the release of hostages. So let's hear from J.D. Vance on that.
Sadly, many Americans do not know the full truth of the Holocaust, and many Americans do not know the full truth of what really happened on October the 7th. It is disgraceful that we have an American president and vice president who haven't done a thing. Vice President Harris, our message is bring them home. Use your authority to help bring them home. We believe that the Jewish state has a right to exist, and Donald Trump and I will fight for that every single day when we're in the White House.
So the Ohio senator said the only way to end the war is to release the hostages. The Republican vice presidential candidate says his ticket with former President Trump supports Israel's right to defend itself. That's what everybody keeps saying, and to do what it takes to end the war. Any thoughts on that?
I don't have thoughts on that. I have thoughts on what you was talking about earlier with, Kamala Harris on 60 Minutes, though.
And our economic plan and the taxing and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think one thing Democrats never stress enough is that since World War II, the economy has historically done better under Democratic presidents. I think that they need to stress that more. And there are a lot of wealthy people who want to pay more taxes. Like Bill Gates. Like Bill Gates he said if he would have paid tens of billions more in taxes if he designed the U.S. tax system. So he's a person that's saying he wants to pay more taxes. So I think she's right on the money when she says she wants to, tax the wealthy and tax these corporations, to help fund some of these things she wants to do, for the middle class. And I thought the 60 Minutes convo was solid altogether. It was edited weird. And 60 Minutes was putting its own narration over her answers. I didn't like that. I don't want to hear 60 Minutes interpretation of their answers. I want to hear their actual answers.
All right. Well, speaking of actual answers, let's bring it home to New York. Another high-ranking member of New York City Mayor Eric Adams' administration is resigning, and another aide may be next. Now, Mayor Adams tells New York One that Deputy Mayor for Public Safety Phil Banks is stepping aside. Banks' resignation follows several other top aides to step down. Let's hear from New York City Mayor Eric Adams on Phil Banks' resignation.
He reached out to me and stated, Eric, I'm looking to move on, and this is a good time to do so.
Wow.
Yeah, so there are reports that Deputy Mayor Sheena Wright will also be resigning. Both Banks and Wright had their phones seized by federal investigators last month before Mayor Adams was charged with federal corruption. The mayor has pleaded not guilty to those charges. And of course, this comes as more heads are rolling from the Mayor Adams administration. Raina Abasova, a longtime Adams staffer who is, according to the indictment of Mayor Adams, coordinated improper straw donations and luxury travel accommodations for Adams and his campaign. She's been terminated from her job. Director of Protocol for International Affairs, from her job as Director of Protocol for International Affairs. She had been on leave from that position as she's believed to be cooperating with federal authorities. In addition, Winnie Greco, who's the mayor's Director of Asian Affairs, whose home was recently raided by the FBI, she was also let go. And one more person, Mohammed Bahi of the mayor's Community Affairs Unit, is also out. The move comes, of course, as New York Governor Kathy Hochul applies pressure for the city to City Hall to just clean house. So even as all of this is going on, new U.S. Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries says that Mayor Adams should not resign despite his recent indictment on federal corruption charges. He's also supporting, saying that Adams is entitled to the presumption of innocence and a trial by jury. But at the same time, Jeffries says Adams needs to articulate a path forward to ensure the city is continuing to function and run in a manner that meets the needs of everyday New Yorkers.
I agree with Hakeem Jeffries. Finally, a Democrat with some nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what Hakeem said is exactly how it should be. He's innocent until proven guilty, and he should not resign. Like he should not resign. Like I see everybody jumping ship around him. Cool. You know what I mean?
They falling like pins over there.
They falling like flies, yeah.
He should not resign. Like once again, I've been saying this. Like when you look at, everything that Donald Trump has gone through legally, and the fact that he's still able to run for president, and ain't nobody trying to push him out. Mayor Adams should be 10 toes down too.
I've been saying that for the longest. That's what we've been saying. He's innocent until proven guilty, right? That's the law, right?
Absolutely. There is a mayor's poll that was recently released that says that 69% of New Yorkers surveyed do think that Adams should step aside. But to your point, I mean, innocent until proven guilty.
Well, that's because people didn't like Mayor Adams before. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like he was a popular mayor in New York City before. Right. So I understand people wanting him to step down. And to me, this isn't about whether you like him or don't like him as a mayor. It's just about principle.
What's right and
That's
what's
what
wrong.
It's about for me. It's just about principle. I think the principle says he shouldn't step down right now.
Right.
It's the principalities.
That's it.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's your front page news. I'm Morgan Wood. Follow me on social at Morgan Media, MorgynMedia. And for more news coverage, follow at Black Information Network. You can see it spelled out right here. And download the free iHeartRadio app and visit us at BINnews.com. Thank y'all.
Wake that ass up. Early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.